Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Welcome, my dear students of grade 5. Today, our session, inshallah, will continue talking about magnetism and electricity. If you remember, in the last session, we start talking about the electromagnet. And today, we will continue talking about the electromagnet and the uses of the electromagnet. And we will solve some questions about the electromagnet. Okay? You remember that there is a relation between electric energy and magnetic energy. This means that we can change the electric energy into magnetic energy. As you see here in the electromagnet, we can make a magnet. We can make an artificial magnet. We can make an artificial magnet from by using the electric current. Here we have the electromagnet. We have here an iron nail. This is an iron nail. This iron nail is made of wrought iron because the wrought iron lose magnetism easily and gain magnetism easily. After that, we wind a wire around it. We rotate or wind a wire around it, a coil of wire. We make a coil of wire around it, many coils, many coils. And the two ends of the wire, we connect them to a battery. The two ends of the wire, we connect them to a battery or a source of electricity. When we connect the wire to the source of electricity, the electric current moves in the wire. When the electric current moves in the wire and in the coil, it produces an electric field. It produces an electric field. So there is an electric field formed around the nail here. So we have an electric field. So we can use this nail as a magnet. Now the nail become a magnet. It can attract small needles or small iron nails and so on. It can attract small paper clips and anything made of iron like this. So now we made an electromagnet. Now we made an electromagnet. And this electromagnet is called a temporary magnet. The meaning of temporary magnet, مغناطيس مؤقت. Temporary magnet means it can be magnetized easily, it become a magnet easily, and it can lose the magnetism easily. If we remove the battery or disconnect the battery, if we disconnect it, immediately the iron nail loses its magnetism and no longer become a magnet. The paper clips or the iron filings fall down quickly because it loses its magnetism easily. It loses its magnetism easily. So we have here an electromagnet, a temporary magnet, which is made of iron nail, rotate around it a coil of wire, and connect the two ends of the wire to a battery or a source of electricity. Now we change the electric current into a magnetic energy. We change it into magnetic energy. Now we make an electromagnet. You can make it at home and you can make a video about it. Show me your activity. It will be nice, inshallah. What do you have learned from this? What do you have learned from this? We learned that the electric current passes through a twisted wire in the form of a coil around a wrought iron bar. The wrought iron bar becomes a magnet. The wrought iron bar becomes a magnet, and it is known as electromagnet. And the electromagnet here, you can change the electric current into magnetic energy. The magnetic force of the electromagnet can be increased. We can increase the strength of the magnetic force. How? By increasing the number of coils turns. We increase the number of coil turns, or by increasing the intensity of the electric current passing through the coil. By increasing the number of batteries, we can use two batteries, through batteries, and so on. So I have here a question. It was the homework for you: how to increase, how to make the electromagnet stronger. Electromagnet stronger. So it is easy question. You can make the electromagnet stronger by what? Somebody can answer me now. Number one, by increasing the number of coils, turns. We increase the number of coil turns, and also by increasing the number of batteries. By number two, you can say number two, by increasing the number of batteries. So you increase the strength of the electric current. Increase the number of batteries. This is you increase the strength of the electric current, so you can increase the strength of the magnet. Is it easy, my son? I think it is so easy. How to increase the strength of the electromagnet? How to make the electromagnet stronger? Number one, by increasing the number of coil turns, and also by increasing the number of batteries. Was the homework in the last session, and today we continue talking about the uses of the electromagnet. We want to discuss together the uses of the electromagnet. Electromagnet can be used in many uses, such as in factories, such as in factories. We can use it in factories. We can use it in factories as the crane. We use it in the factory as the crane or the winch, which carry heavy blocks of iron. You can see in the picture here the crane or the winch, which is a huge electromagnet. It is made of a huge electromagnet, as you see here in the picture. This is a huge electromagnet which can carry heavy blocks of iron. Anything made of iron, you can make it, you can carry it by this way, by the electromagnet or the winches, the electric winches. Okay. And also the huge electromagnet made a big sized winch, as you see in the picture. And also the small electromagnet can be used at home. Lower the winch lowers the electromagnet over the iron or steel blocks to lift them, so it attracts them by its magnetic force. The electromagnet attracts the iron or steel blocks, maybe heavy blocks like cars, like bicycles, and so on. You can carry heavy blocks of iron by the electromagnet or the winch made of the electromagnet. The winch which has an electromagnet in it. So we use it also at home. And also when we increase the electric current passes through the magnet, when we increase the electric current passes through the magnet, we can increasing the strength of the magnet by increasing the number of turns of the turning of the electric current by a turn. If we turn off the electric current, if we disconnect the electromagnet to the electricity, the electromagnet loses its magnetism and they become not a magnet immediately. So we call it the electromagnet is temporary magnet. So I have a question for you. Give reason the electromagnet is a temporary magnet. Who can answer this question? Give reason. The electromagnet is a temporary magnet. It is a temporary, not permanent magnet. مغناطيس مؤقت وليس دائم. Temporary. Temporary. Okay? Temporary. It is temporary magnet because it can lose its magnetism easily. Because it can lose its magnetism easily. By disconnecting the electric current. By disconnecting the electric current. So if you disconnect the electric current, the magnet loses its magnetism and not and loses its force of magnetism, and the blocks will fall down quickly. So this is the give reason which I want you to remember very well. Give reason: the electromagnet is a temporary magnet. The answer is because it can lose its magnetism easily by disconnecting by disconnecting by disconnecting by disconnecting by disconnecting the electric current. You can, or turning the electric current off. Now the electromagnet loses its magnetism and the heavy blocks may fall down quickly. Okay, my son. Okay, now what are the uses of the electromagnet at home? We want to know what is the uses of the electromagnet at home. Your house contain also some electromagnets. Your house contain also some electromagnet. Where in your house? Where is the electromagnet in our house? There is many devices contain a small electromagnet. Like what? In our house there is the electric bill. The electric bill, it has an electromagnet inside it. And the electric mixer, also it has an electromagnet inside it. And the disk drive or the CD drive in the computer, and also the television. All of these devices contain an electromagnet. The electric bill, the electric mixer, and the disk drive, and the television. All of these contain an electromagnet. Now we can answer some questions about the electromagnet. Let's go to the booklet to answer some questions about the electromagnet. Here you can see the crane or the winch carrying a car. This is the use in a factory. The use of the electromagnet in the factory in cranes or winches. You can see here the crane or the winch. The crane or the winch. This crane or winch has what? Has a strong or a huge electromagnet. Has a huge electromagnet. Has a huge electromagnet. So you can carry heavy blocks of iron and steel and so on. This is a crane. This is the use of the electromagnet at factories. And the uses of the electromagnet at home. The uses of the electromagnet at home. Many devices contain small electromagnets like the electric bell, the electric mixer, the disk drive, and the television. All of these devices contain an electromagnet. We can increase the force of note. Don't remember this note, please. Remember that we can increase the force of the electromagnet by increasing the number of coil turns and by increasing the number of batteries. Remember this very well. We can increase the strength or the force of the electromagnet by increasing the number of coil turns and increasing the number of batteries. And also remember that the electromagnet changes electric energy into what? Into magnetic energy. Remember very well, the crane, the electromagnet, it is a device which used to change the electric energy into magnetic energy. Because when the electric current passes through a wire, when the electric current passes through a wire, okay, of a wire, the bar of iron work as a magnet. You can, the idea of the electromagnet, when the electric current passes through a wire, the 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 iron nail or the rod of iron, the bar of iron become a magnet. Now, also we have some questions about it. Go to solve some questions about it. Yes, here. Electric current has space effect. Who can answer this? I think it is easy. The electric current has a magnetic magnetic effect. Magnetic effect. Is it easy? The electric current has what? Has a magnetic effect. This is easy. The electric current has a magnetic effect because also you can remember the activity. If you remember the activity in the beginning of the lesson, this activity proves that the electric current has a magnetic effect. If you look at this activity, we can bring four compasses. We can bring four compasses. One, two, three, and four. These compasses are put together in a card with a rod iron bar in the middle. Iron bar in the middle. Okay. This iron bar in the middle has a wire passes through the iron bar and connected to a battery, a source of electricity. When the electric current passes through the wire, now the magnetic field is produced. The magnetic field is produced, and the magnetic field effect on the compasses, and you can see the compass deflect. The compass deflects. The needle of the compass deflect. Doesn't point to the same direction. They deflect left and right because there is a magnetic field effect on it. There is a magnetic field effect on it. The magnetic field produced from the electric current. So we have to know that the electric current has a magnetic effect. The electric current has a magnetic effect by making this activity. This is an easy activity. Put a wire beside the compass. Does the compass needle deflect? Of course not, because the wire has no electricity. But connect the wire ends to the poles of a battery. And now the electric current passes through the wire. Now there is a magnetic field produced. There is a magnetic field produced. So now we can see if you put the compass beside the wire, which in which the electric current passes, you can see the needle will deflect. The needle will deflect. What do you learn from this activity? I learn from this activity that the electric current has a, we learn from this activity. If I ask you what do you learn from this activity, we learn that the electric current has what? The electric current has magnetic effect because it affects on the needle of the compass. It affects the needle of the compass and deflects the needle of the compass. So what do you infer from this activity? The electric current has a magnetic effect. Is it easy? So easy. So we learn now from the electromagnet that the electric current has a magnetic effect. And also we learn from this lesson that we can change the electric current into magnetic energy. Okay. And also we can learn that when an electric current passes through a wire, when electric current passes through a wire, a magnetic field around the wire is generated. A magnetic field around the wire is generated. So a magnetic field is formed. So this field can be detected by deflection of the compass. This magnetic field can be detected by the compass deflection. The needle of the compass deflect, which is placed nearer to the wire. So we learn from this activity that the electric current has a magnetic effect. Now we can go to the booklet and solve some questions. Continue solving the questions. We have here number one, we say the electric current has what? We said the electric current has a magnetic effect. Magnetic effect. effect. Okay. Number two, question number two. The magnetic force of the electromagnet is spaced by increasing the number of coil turns. What happened to the magnetic force of the electromagnet by increasing the number of coil turns? Of course, the magnetic force will increases. Very good. The magnetic force will increases. Very good, my son. The magnetic force increases by increasing the number of coil turns. It's so easy. Number three, when an electric current flows through a wire twisted or winded around a wrought iron nail, the nail becomes an space. Who can solve? Again, when an electric current flows through a wire twisted or winding around a wrought iron nail, the nail becomes an, I can hear your answer. Very good. Electro a magnet. Very good. The nail becomes an electromagnet. So easy. Type. The electromagnet is made of or consists of three main components. The electromagnet made of three main components. Number one, iron nail. Iron nail. Very good. Number two, what? A coil of wire. Coil of copper wire. Very good. What else? The third component. The third component is a battery. Very good. A battery. This is the third component of the electromagnet. So we have iron nail, coil of copper wire, battery. This is the structure of the electromagnet. The number five. Now we go to number five. The electromagnet loses its magnetic force by what? Remember, it is a temporary magnet. مغناطيس مؤقت. المغناطيس الكهربي مغناطيس مؤقت. It is a temporary magnet. It loses its magnetic force by disconnecting the electric current. Very good. By disconnecting the electric current. Very good. By disconnecting the electric current, the electromagnet can lose its magnetism. Very good. This is the end of our session today. We will continue, inshallah, next session. We will talk about the magnetic effect of the electric current. And we will talk about the dynamo in the next session, inshallah. Thank you, everybody, and goodbye. Until we meet again, goodbye. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.